Hi, I'm Callum from Tyne Valley Motorhomes, and this is the handover of a Bessacarr 572. So as we start the walk round, on the driver's side of the vehicle first, the first point you get to is your mains 230 hookup point. So how do you hook the vehicle up? So you get your hooker blade, lift the collar, expose the ends, lift the flap slightly out of the van, and then you'll be able to connect straight on to the point. Always hook the motorhome up first and then the sight, and do it in reverse order when unhooking, so that you're never walking around with a live lead. You've got some storage in here. So you've got storage underneath your bunk. That's your batteries. I'll go more into that once inside. All your lockers open with the Swift key. So this is your habitation key, so it opens all your lockers, and obviously this key just does your fuel and your engine and unlocks the driver's door should the key battery go dead. LPG locker, so liquid petroleum gas. This is your gas locker. So in here we've got our test bottle on. We can fit two 6-kilogram bottles on here. So once you get your bottle on, what you want to do is you want to strap it in, so this hook goes round the neck of the bottle before you put a pigtail on, which is this pipe here. So that clips in, strap it down, and then to connect your pigtail, which is this pipe here, which goes from the bottle to the regulator. With it being gas, it's the opposite thread, so it's left to tighten, right to loosen. You'll need to get yourself a gas spanner or an adjustable wrench of some sort. Hand tighten it first and then nip it up. Turn the cylinder on from the top, and then turn it off before you start driving away, just so it's safe when you're traveling. And once you have turned it on, if you just press this green button at the back on the regulator here for 3 seconds, it tells you on this yellow sticker what it does. It's a crash valve. So press it for 3 seconds and it allows the gas into the vehicle so you can use it for your gas appliances. But turn your bottles off before you start driving. Just here you've got a grey tap. This is your wastewater tap, so any water that you've put down a plug hole goes into a separate holding tank. So dishes, hand basin, shower. On the way out of your site, you'll go over the wastewater disposal point, open the tap, allow this to drain off, because you don't want to drive around with wastewater added. It'll add to your payload, obviously taking some weight away from what you can carry, and it'll obviously mean that the diesel engine uses a lot more diesel because it's added weight that you don't need to carry. And make sure that you fully drain this off in the winter, because you don't want the water to freeze. Aldi boiler flue at the back there, so that just allows the fumes out when operating on gas. Obviously the boiler is underneath your bed, so it does give the location of that as well. This is your cassette toilet. So to operate the cassette toilet, press the buttons in. You've got some storage in there, but then what you can do is lift the yellow orangey handle, pull the cassette out. You can then either carry it to your waste disposal point, or what you can do is you can wheel it, because it's got wheels on the bottom and a handle when it's heavy. To empty it, take the grey cover off, press the button at the back, out, allows a bit of air in, stops it glugging, and tip the content of the cassette down the designated point. Once you've done that, there's normally a tap there, so you'd pop some water in, give it a final rinse and tip out again before doing a capful of the liquid, either the green or the blue, into here, and it's good to go back into the motorhome and be used. But make sure you are putting your chemicals in, because obviously that does its job as well before using it. On the back of the motorhome, you've got your high level brake light and your twin lens reversing camera, and then at the bottom you do have your tow bar with electrics, and it is a 7-pin electrics on there. Storage underneath the bed. There's your carpets for the motorhome, so you do have some storage underneath there. to fill the vehicle with water. So you'll need to go and buy yourself a hose pipe with some hose pipe connections, because on a site there's just a brass tap, so you need a screw on end, you'll need a hose lock, and you need the flat end into the motorhome. So you've got a lockable cap, again opens with the ignition, the habitation key. So when it's just turning like so, it's locked. When you can push it in and grip it, remove the cover, it's open. So put the flat end of the hose into here and wait until it either overflows or until you're happy there's enough water on board, which you can see on the main control panel. Should you not be able to get close enough to a hose, what you could do is you will need to buy a wheel submersible pump. You put the flat end in here, you put the power on there, so that's a power point for a pump. Put the pump into a bucket or gallon drum of water, and that'll suck that into the vehicle. So you will just need to buy yourself a wheel pump. Awning light, fridge vents, and your awning, which will show you on the day of collection. You've got your diesel here. Oh, hang on, before we do the diesel, we'll just go back this way slightly, and just behind the back wheel, this is your drain off for your fresh water. So you fill there. Should you want to drain it off because you've taken on contaminated water, or you drain it off for the winter, or you're simply just not using it for a while, just open your tap and drain off your fresh water, because you don't want the water to freeze in the winter. So make sure that all the water is drained off out the vehicle. That will be one of the points, along with the waste, and then there's a few inside which I'll go through. Diesel filler opens with the main Fiat Ducato key for filling with fuel. Tyre pressures are here, so 5.5 bar, which is 79.5 psi all round, front and back. Underneath the seat you do have a jack and a brace and a tone eye in the toolkit. And then underneath this compartment here in the cab floor is where your engine battery lives. So you just have to remove that by using a screwdriver and turning the tabs on the front and back to either put a charger on or to replenish the engine battery should you ever need to in the future. And then finally your bonnet release is just here. And you've got your various fluids. So you've got the one that you're going to need the most, which is your screen wash, which is at the back here. Then you've got your power steering fluid, brake fluid and coolant, oil filler and dipstick. And then should you ever need to jump start it, because the battery's underneath the floor, you'd put your earth, which is your black clip, on here, lift this one up here by the air filter, put your positive on there, which is your red clip for giving or receiving a jump start. And then you do have your weight plate. So 4250 gross vehicle weight, 6 tonnes. So you've got your motorhome, and whatever you're towing can't exceed 6 tonne, which is your train weight. So this is your 12 volt control panel. So if you are hooked up, you'll get the light there from the post and the light at the back of the van on the diagram of the motorhome, which means you are receiving 230 volt. If they're not lit up, then you only have 12 volt available off your leisure battery. The button in the middle is your master switch, so it turns the vehicle on 12 volt or 230 volt. You've got your view levels, so you can view your leisure battery reading, your vehicle battery reading, your fresh water reading and your wastewater reading there. Cabin lights, which is just a master switch for all your lights, which are all then individually switched around the vehicle. And to this side you've got your water pump, so making sure that you've got enough water on board first, you can turn on the pump, which will pressurise the water to the taps, toilet and shower. Should you not have this on, you'll get no pressurised water to those sources, so make sure your pump's on. And then finally you do have frost protect. So this is a heater element that's in the tanks, and when it's going to drop below freezing overnight, what you can do is you can pop that on and it'll stop the water from freezing in the undercarriage chassis tanks to avoid the water from freezing. So this is your Aldi heating and hot water system, which is a wet system. So it's got the antifreeze in the pipes from the expansion tank, which I'll show you later on in the video, which runs through the pipes and gives you a more homely feel of heating with the radiators behind the furniture. So to operate it, you turn the system on and off via the left hand switch. It runs through its cycle, and then if you hit menu, you can go to the menu. So first of all, you've got the thermometer in the house. This is how hot you want the inside of your motorhome. So you just need to keep pressing it, and it'll go to 30 degrees being the highest. So you can just set your temperature to what you want. Once you're happy with it, that's all you need to do. And then underneath you've got a picture of a shower head. This is your hot water. So if you didn't have any water on board, you wouldn't have the hot water on. So you turn it all the way down and the hot water would be off. You can turn it up and it'll go to half a bar, which means that the heating and hot water can run together should you have the heating on. Or you can have it to a full bar like it is now, and it'll turn off the heating and prioritize your water first. So if you did want them on together, just make sure that it's half a bar and the full bar isn't black. When the full bar is black, it means the hot water's got priority. Then you've got an electric sign. So this is your hot water. So this is what source you're heating your hot water or your vehicle off. So electric, so you've got 1 kilowatt, which is 750 watts of mains electric. You've got 2 kilowatts, which is 1500 watts of mains 230 volt, or you've got 3 kilowatts. So depending on the amperage the site gives you, will determine whether you use 1, 2 or 3 kilowatts. And then finally, you've got gas on the bottom, so it's as simple as turning it on. And obviously you would use your gas if you're wild camping. You can use your electric and your gas together should you be in desperate need of either heating or hot water. Both sources together will reduce the time it takes to heat either the vehicle or your hot water supply. But remember, don't use your gas if you're on a site, because you've paid your site fees. So if you were to use it in the winter just to get the vehicle up to temperature, 10 minutes or so, then knock it off and allow the electric to continue to heat either the vehicle or the water. To operate your fridge, so you do have a separate freezer compartment to the fridge, and then in the middle on the panel you have your controls. So if you press the far left hand button, you can turn the fridge and freezer on. So just press and hold and it turns it on. So you can see that it's on, and it's on mains. So the picture of the plugs lit up, so it means it's acting as a household fridge on 230 volt. So you'd use that if you are pre-chilling it at home, or if you are on a site. You'd use your gas if you were wild camping, because obviously you would have no other source available to cool your fridge and your freezer down by, so you'd use gas. And then you can use the battery if you're travelling from home and you've put your shopping in the night before and it's been chilled to your site, or you're moving from site to site. Obviously you can use the battery setting, which isn't off your leisure battery. It's off your engine battery when the engine is running. And it's only designed to keep the temperature the same as what it was previously set at. So it's basically acts like a cool box. So with a cool box, you've got to chill it. You put your shopping in, you chill your shopping down, and then you pop it in your car with the engine on into 12 volt, and it'll just cool it until you plug it back into mains. But with this, you can either plug it back to mains or you can turn it on to gas if you're wild camping. A stands for automatic energy selection, so that'll do it all for you. So it'll pick the best source available. So it's changed it from gas to hook up, because at the minute we're hooked up but we've got gas on board. It knows not to waste the gas, so it's when to hook up. If I was to take the hookup out, it would go over to gas, and if I was to start the engine, it would go over to 12 volts. So it'll do it all for you. The only problem you're going to have is it waits 20 minutes once the engine's knocked off before lighting on gas. That's just a safety feature from Dometic in case you are filling with fuel. The last thing you want to do is your fridge to light on gas if you forgot to turn your gas bottle off in a filling station. So what you'll need to do is, if you are going wild camping, just knock it off A, put it onto gas manually by just pressing the gas flame. Here you do have your frame heater. So it's not just beeping, just telling where the doors are open. So just excuse that. That's your frame heater, so it stops the rubber seals from getting stuck to the frame when the fridge is on and then this is just your temperature. So 5 bars, 5 being the coldest. Put it on full 5 when pre-chilling. Once you put your shopping in, just knock it down, because sometimes it can freeze the fridge. And then finally, what you want to do is, when you're not using it, leave the doors open, because if you shut the door, it forms an airtight seal. It's going to trap the air, and then over time it's going to make your motorhome smell. So on the lights, you've got a little toggle here, press and pull them out. Same with that one on the light. And then if you rest the doors upon it, they're loose, which means that it allows air circulation in and out the fridge freezer to stop the smells, bacteria and mold from growing in the fridge with the air being trapped. To operate your satellite system, first of all you need to turn this switch on, and then your display panel will light up, and you simply just need to press this button here, and then you'll hear it whizzing around on the roof until it locks on. And that's how you do it. And then when you're coming to put it away to leave your site, press here, it'll say shut down system. Just select yes with one of these buttons at the bottom, and then the satellite will retract and go into the travelling position, which is lying flat on your roof, which means it's safe to travel. So in your kitchen area for your cooking facilities, you've got 3 gas burner rings, 1 electric hot plate on mains 230 volt, which is this one here. So you've got to be hooked up, and then you can use the hot plate. Otherwise you've got 3 gas. There's 1, there's 2, and there's your final lit gas ring there at the back. So 3 lit gas rings, and underneath you've got your grill. Then underneath your grill you do have your oven. You've got loads of storage in your kitchen. So you've got some storage underneath the oven. Obviously 3 gas taps here. So these are mainly for when the vehicle is annually serviced. It tells you there which gas tap does which. If there are any problems with gas, turn the bottle off to be safe. And then on the other side you've got the plug there for your electric hot plate. So if that's giving you any bother, you can just unplug the plug and isolate the hot plate. Or you can plug something else in there if you're not going to use the hot plate. Storage with a carousel storage cabinet, and then you can store your drainer and your chopping board for your sink in there. And as long as your pump's on, you'll be able to get a pressurised flow of water from the hot and cold side, and that's your hot water getting really warm there. Plug for your microwave. So your microwave is a 800 watt microwave. Storage to the side of it, and you do have some storage above the microwave. So underneath your bench seat, behind your passenger seat, you do have some storage in here for your bits and pieces. But you've also got a switch, which is this one here, and that's a 12 volt assisted switch for your Aldi fan. So the fan will blow the heat out of here and out the front there, just to take the chill off the cab. So you can pop that on should you need to, and it'll blow the heat around the front of the cabin. So to make your lounge into a bed, what you've got to do is, if you lift it up and slide it out, drop your leg, bring that into the middle there, do the exact same with the other side. So lift it up, slide it out, leg down, pull it out, and then you'd use your backrests into the middle, turn them upside down, and that'll form your double bed there across the width of the motorhome. Underneath the bench seat on the driver's side of the vehicle, obviously you do have access from outside, but in here is your batteries. So your leisure battery lives in there, and that's your main battery fuse just in the corner there, which is a 40 amp fuse. So you can store in here, but just make sure that you've got access for your leisure batteries should you need to be into them. In the cupboard just above your driver's seat, this is your Sergeant power supply unit, which is an AC 450 unit. So what you do have at the top is you have all your trips. So you've got your RCD, which is your main trip tester, and then all your MCBs for your various circuits. And then at the bottom you've got all your blade fuses for your 12 volt appliances, which are all listed here. So you can have a look there and see, it tells you the amperage of fuse, the colour and what does what. And then you've got the mains circuits there. So do carry some spare blade fuses with you in case one fuse does decide to blow, you can replenish the fuse. And then this button here is a system shutdown button, so you can turn that off to stop any power drain from your leisure battery should you be parking it up in the winter. Underneath the single bed on the driver's side of the vehicle, you've got storage this side, and there's your wheel arch. And then this side you've got your Aldi boiler system. So your Aldi boiler does two jobs. It obviously heats the vehicle and it heats the water. So it heats 10 litres of water at any one time. So that boiler can always hold 10 litres of water. It's very important that in the winter it's drained off, because if it's not, the water could potentially freeze in there when we're experiencing colder temperatures. So when you're not using it in the winter, regardless if you're going away the following weekend or in a couple of days and it's just parked on the driveway or in storage, drain the boiler down, because you wouldn't want the water to freeze, because it will void your warranty and it's very expensive to repair or replace an Aldi boiler. So what you need to do is, down here there's a little yellow toggle which is currently sitting in that position there, which means it can hold 10 litres of water. You want to stand it up on end. So you want to just come in, no power, no pump. After you've drained off your fresh and your waste, you want to open your boiler, so just do this, stand it up there, so stand that up. That'll drain off all the water, 10 litres, out underneath the vehicle. Then what you'll want to do is, you'll want to open all your taps throughout the motorhome, so kitchen, hand basin, bathroom, shower, unscrew your shower head from the shower hose, just to stop the hose from holding any water, and lie that down in the shower tray. And make sure that the vehicle is fully drained off with no water, so nothing can freeze, because as you can see there, it's all plastic pipes. They're easily split by frost, but they've got to have all plastic pipes on motorhomes and caravans for weight. So drain everything off, don't break your boiler, drain your fresh and your waste off, and then when you come to reuse it, shut your boiler, shut your fresh and your waste, shut your taps, assemble the shower head, fill the vehicle with cold water via a hose pipe from outside the vehicle, come in, put the control panel on, put the pump on, go to your cold side of your tap. Cold side of the tap, you'll get a pressurised flow of cold water straight away. As soon as you start going to hot, what it's doing is it's transferring the water from the freshwater tank underneath the vehicle into the boiler, so it's going to cough, splutter, make all sorts of noises until you get a free flow of water from the hot side. Then you know that your system is primed for the season. But please drain them down in the winter by lifting that tap and letting the water out. In your bathroom, you do have some storage at the back, which includes your table. So you've got your freestanding table, which you can have at the front or you can take outside should it be a nice day. And you've also got your Aldi expansion tank. So always turn the system off to see where the liquid is physically sitting at, because when you run it up, it's an expansion tank, so the liquid expands. So you've got a min and a max there, you can see the levels just here. That goes through your system as your antifreeze, and you can top it up from the top where it's got the little pump on. So you unscrew that and you can top it up. Every time you change the liquid, it has a 5-year lifespan. So if you go on the Aldi website, there's 5 different liquids they use. So you can use Aldi, or they recommend some others which they can warrant. So just make sure that you're using the right liquid. You can ask us to change it on Habitation Service or any other motorhome and caravan dealerships, because what they'll need to do is they'll need to drain it down and put new liquid in. But that's one job you'll need to do every 5 years. In your washroom at the back, you've got your light switch here, toiletry cabinet underneath the hand basin, and one just slightly above. Shower cubicle, so make sure you're putting the turnbuckle on, so you'd leave your shower cubicle screen like that when you're travelling. Make sure that when you are cleaning your shower cubicle out, you don't use any abrasive or harsh chemicals. Use a light soap with a microfiber so it doesn't discolour or stain the white shower cubicle and tray. As it tells you there, just to be careful, don't use any solvents or concentrated perfumes or oils on your, or abrasive products on your shower cubicle. There's your shower head. So as long as you, that's just showing that your shower cubicle's working. And then to operate your toilet, blue button at the back, that's your freshwater flush. So you press that button. So always flush your toilet before you use it. So flush it, put some water in. It keeps the seal between the top of the cassette and the bottom of the toilet lubricated. And then before you use it, open the blade. So this is the blade handle on the front, so slide that away from you. You'll then be able to use your toilet. You then give it a good flush after use, and if you've bought the twin packs of the Aquachem blue with the Aquachem pink, which is the flush, obviously this doesn't take the pink, but what you can do is you can use a empty spray bottle, put about that much pink into a full bottle of water, spray the bowl, then give it a good flush, and then you want to close the blade, which is back towards you. And what that'll do is it'll clean the bowl and it'll give a fragrant smell to stop smells. And then obviously closing it will then mean when the cassette is full, which will indicate just underneath the diagram here of the cassette, you can pull it straight out the side of the van and empty it. Obviously if the blade was to be open, the mechanism's engaged and the cassette won't physically come out the side of the vehicle. To lock your habitation door, you just need to press this button here and that'll lock it via itself. And you've got a blackout blind to black the windows out. And the blackout blinds operate like all the other windows, but just it doesn't have a fire screen on like all the others. It does have one on this frame, however, but just not on this window.